Hello and welcome to another weekly update. I hope you're having a great week. So a couple of things to talk to you about today. So first of all is a speaking thing I'm doing in the next couple of weeks. Obviously I've talked about Commonsverse already, that's in a week and so's time, something like that. But this is something else that's coming towards the end of July, and I'm going to be speaking at PowerPlatform User Group in Leeds in the UK. But I'm speaking virtually, so I'm not going to Leeds. It's a virtual event. It's all happening on Microsoft Teams. This is really good because actually, yes, Leeds is in the UK and I'm in the UK, but Leeds is quite a long way to go from where I live. I probably wouldn't necessarily go there just for a user group meetup. So it's really nice actually. One of these unexpected side effects of lockdown and everything happening online is that I'm able to talk at some places I wouldn't normally be able to. So I'm going to be talking there, which is really good. Looking forward to that a lot. The other nice thing is that even though it's sort of happening in Leeds, invertedly, it's actually happening online, which means anyone can go, anyone can register, anyone can attend. So if that sounds like it's interesting to you, it's happening in the evening time in the UK, so actually that's pretty good for the US time as well. It's not too late if you're European as well. I think I want to say it's 7 o'clock. Yeah, it is. So it's 7 o'clock UK time. So it's like afternoon / middle of the day, depending on which bit of America you're in, and a little bit into the evening if you're in Europe, but not too bad, hopefully. So come along. I'm going to be talking about the Teams development platform. I'm going to be talking about some tips and tricks, some new stuff that's come along, and I'm also going to touch on app templates as well because they've really stepped up again. I'm going to talk about them in a second actually. So if any of that sounds interesting, then so come along. It's hosted on Meetup. I'll put the link for the Meetup thing in the description for this. So yeah, come along to that. All right, what's next? Yeah, let's talk about app templates actually. Let's touch on those because I don't think I talked about this already on a weekly update, but I did it a few weeks ago and I think I just forgot to talk about it. I've made a collection page for app templates because now there are quite a lot of app templates. There's over like 20. And I still don't think they're well enough known and well enough appreciated. So I wanted to kind of call out their usefulness. So what I've done is I've grouped them by different types of app templates and how that might be useful to you. So I've grouped together apps for productivity, apps for communication, question answering apps, team culture apps, and then some specific, apps that are really specific to a very specific use case. So you can go to this page that I've set up, which I'll put a link to, but it's thoughtstuff.co.uk/app template for Microsoft Teams with dashes. But I'll put the link in. So you can go there, you can click on each of those different types, and then I've listed out the apps that I think fall into each of those categories, and then linked off to those apps. So these are all Microsoft provided apps. They're not things that I've written. They're Microsoft provided. But I think they're really good. They're production ready, they're open source, they're free to use, they've got great instructions. So I think they're really good. I think you should look at them. That's the reason for putting this page together and talking about it really, just to kind of highlight them and bring them a bit more visibility because I think they're awesome. Okay. So what else is new? Oh yeah, this is good. So there's changing track again slightly into developing new Microsoft Teams applications. There's always been some really great templating and scaffolding support for Teams apps, and one of those has been the Yeoman Generator. If you've seen anyone walking around with a t-shirt that says Yo Teams, that's the Yeoman Generator. If you've always wondered what it was and you've never really got into Yeoman because you've not really been in the kind of Node space or the React space, that's definitely me as well. I've had to get into that because that's not my natural kind of language ground. But there's a whole bunch of training videos that have been put together jointly by Microsoft and the community to kind of take you through how it all works, how the Yeoman Generator works for Microsoft Teams, the things you can do, how to use it, and then how to use it specifically to build bots, to build apps, to build tabs in apps, to do things like single sign-on, to work with connectors, loads and loads of really useful, practical things you can do. So if that sounds interesting, there are 8 videos collected together in a training pack. I'll put a link to it in the notes. They're obviously all free to use. and they're all listed on the Microsoft 365 and SharePoint community YouTube channel. Okay, and finally, something else to tell you about. Again, a bit more specific this time, but it's interesting, I think, and it's come from the Bot Framework team. And it's a very specific use case, but I think it's quite useful as a bit of an exemplar on how to do this stuff. And it's using bot authentication. So it's how you can do authentication inside your bot to GitHub as the identity provider. So basically, how can you use OAuth 2 authentication inside a bot so that you can then go and perform some GitHub actions on behalf of a user? So you might have a bot that, I don't know, lists stuff in a repo or performs some check-in, check-out, does some commits, whatever, and you want to write a bot around that. So you need your bot or your user using your bot to be able to authenticate to GitHub via OAuth 2. Via OAuth 2. Now, this is useful if that is your specific use case. But if it isn't your specific use case, and actually you don't want to authenticate to GitHub, but you want to authenticate to something else that uses OAuth 2, this is also a really useful blog post, because the concepts are exactly the same, really. So this is a good kind of process, good thing to do. You've also got some source code in here as well you can use to kind of get started. It's like an example on GitHub, and like it's doing the GitHub thing. So it's doing that GitHub example around connecting using the identity provider, and then you can just look at some repos, some notifications and stuff. It's a fairly kind of bare bones example, but it's a great one for like just doing the identity stuff. So you can definitely take that as a starting point, and rather than doing GitHub, you can use it for anything else you wanted to do in OAuth 2. So I thought that was useful to drop in there, because if that's what you're trying to do and you just want to see someone else's workings and see how it's done, then that could be a really useful resource for you. Okay, I think that's everything from now. There's some interesting things coming next week. I've just written 2 blog posts which are going to go next week, so look out for those, and I'll talk about them next time. And we've got Comsverse coming up as well, so there's plenty happening this summer, so it's going to be a good one. All right, have a great weekend, whatever you're doing. Stay safe, stay happy, stay well, and I'll talk to you again next time.